It is time once again for the weekly closes on our favorite Bitcoin miners. Let's get right into it, starting with CleanSpark. You can see here CleanSpark trading at 750 on the dot on Friday's close. There it went up 2.46% on the week. Now there's a couple of things in here that I am a little bit excited about for CleanSpark. You can see that I cleaned up a lot of my lines, turned them into boxes instead here for different sections that I expect to see some resistance there on the chart. Now first, I'd like to point out two things on here. One, volume here is getting smaller to the downside. That's great. That's really good news. We can see the BX trender is also light red, and it's been light red for 2 weeks in a row. Last time we went from dark to light, we moved from this area here at about $8.50 all the way up to $18. So we went lower this time. We went all the way down to 6. So maybe this time we'll see it hit 15 before we really run into some significant resistance. Maybe we'll even crush that $18 level for the first time since getting above it since let's see, July of last year. So hopefully that comes through on CleanSpark. So we may have bottomed on CleanSpark as a result here. You can see we came pretty much to the penny here for that low on January 2024. We hit that basically to the penny at 645. Now that is, if that level is to hold, that would be great, and we can go up from here. If not, well, then we could find ourselves quickly finding a low around $3.40, $4 here on CleanSpark. So hopefully we don't get that. We do see Bitcoin climbing up in recent days, so hopefully that is going to give us some momentum to the upside. I'd really like to see this white line here. Let me turn off the drawings for a second. I'd really like to see this white line here cross up above this orange line. That's the 9-day EMA and the 50-day week. The 9 week and the 50 week EMAs. I'd like to see that cross up and hold, and not just come up. See, you see over here, these, while technically confirmed for 3-4 weeks, you can see that we didn't really get any stacking here. Kind of like, well, let me show you. Like back here, when we were going up, the candles just stacked on top of each other, right? They just stacked, and then when they stopped stacking, they came down. Same thing in the next one, right? Stacking, the candles were just stacking the bodies, stacking on top of each other, and then when they stopped stacking, guess what happened? It started going sideways. And in this run up here, they never really stacked. It went up a little bit and then immediately red and then green and then back and forth chop and then all the way back down again. So in this next time, the next time we go up, the first candle that stops stacking, I'm out. I'm done. I'm leaving. The first candle that's not going to stack like these previous candles over here, and I'll circle them for you on the chart so you can look real nice at them. Let's get my drawing tool out. There it is right here in December 2023 to from November 2023 to December 2023, just stack. Except for this one right here. This would have been the one I got out on probably because it didn't stack. And that was pretty close to the top. And then we have these 4 right here, basically starting from January 2024 until February 2024, where the candle bodies were each just completing on top of each other. And then when I got this red candle, I might have given it to like Monday or Tuesday the week after. And when it didn't stack on top of that next one, I would have been out. Actually, I might have gotten out around 21. I try to get out like on a nice big wick. Yeah. So that's what we're going to try to do this time around when it is time. Currently, I don't think it's time just yet because you can see here now, unless something changes over the weekend, what I'm looking for is a breakage of this yellow descending line here. So I want it to come up above it. So I want to do something like this. Let me show you. I want it to come up to this line, maybe come back down, test this line, and then take off. And then possibly test that line one more time. Let me draw that again. Come up, test this line, go up above, test the line from above, and then off we go. I'd like to see something like that. Now, of course, if we just launch and we start breaking through, that $11 range real fast, well, then I'll be trying to, catch that rocket on the way up. But for now, I'm just watching it fall, just waiting. I am still holding my warrants for the majority of them. I sold out about 30% of my warrants. And as you can see, this has just been falling since February. Just falling, well, honestly, since January, just falling. Came all the way down to the bottom of that big candle, pretty much to the penny. Yeah, all the way to the base of this big candle to the penny. And it's going to sit here and probably base here. If it falls any lower than this, that's a really bad sign. Like if it goes underneath 15 cents, really, really, really bad sign. Hopefully we'll see it break this channel and we'll see it do something like this, just kind of like, and go even higher from there. That's what I'm hoping to see, especially if CleanSpark can get above $18. I would expect it to match and defeat its previous highs. CleanSpark, I do want to see it hold this trend line here, so I really don't want to see it go any lower than it has right now. Otherwise, I would be expecting it to go under $5 pretty quickly, honestly. So that's all there is to it right now. We're waiting for Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been showing promise right now, and this isn't necessarily going to run as hard as Bitcoin, or maybe not even directly with Bitcoin. I am also watching the ISM manufacturing for that to get above 50 and stay above 50, and that will give me another indication that we are likely going to see these things go higher. Let's take a look at Mara real quick. Mara on the weekly up 10%, almost 10.71%. We got a green engulfing candle. That's great. We closed ever so slightly above this descending trend line I've got here. We've got 1 week of lower volume, lower red volume, high green volume, lower red volume here on this volume oscillator. And we have the BX trender making a lighter color here on the red bands. That's actually pretty good. I don't mind that at all. The next candle I want to see it come up next week. I want to see it come up to about $15. And it's okay if it comes back and tests, where it currently is right now, about $12.51. That's okay if it does that. I would kind of expect it to do something like that, or at least go sideways around 15 and then start crawling higher. I really want to see Mara. Oops. I really want to see Mara re-enter this big channel right here that's highlighted on the screen right now that goes between $14.83-ish and $30. So about $15 and $30, a $15 window. And I want to see it do that because it's gone from the bottom to the top of that thing on multiple occasions, right? We had 1, 2, 3 touches on top, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 touches on bottom before it finally broke through. And if we can get back above it and do something like this, right? Come above, touch it from above, and then start hitting the middle, maybe do a sideways action and then go all the way to the top. That'd be a pretty healthy move to see. And I would expect it to get back up to around that $30 level. And if Bitcoin is going bonkers, this thing might crush that $30 level at that point. So we're watching for that right now. I really need to see volume coming in, high volume. I want to see some high volume because you can see here, unlike with the indexes, with the Bitcoin miners, when that volume is above average, look what's happening. It's just skyrocketing. So we really want to see some of this volume peak above this trend line here, this average, this blue line for the volume. We want to see that get above that and hold that for a day or two. Once it holds that for a couple of days, and if it's going sideways on a couple of days like that, you better believe a big rush is going to come in soon after. Okay, so that's pretty exciting right now for those things. Same thing, I want to see the 9 EMA cross over the 50 EMA for Mara to really get excited about it again. Iren, ooh, what a disappointment. Iren, what a disappointment. Look at how this falling wedge is just squeezing there right now. Let me draw that out. Boom, just squeezing real tight right down there at the bottom of that falling wedge. That really needs to see an end at some point. Why can't I delete that? Oh, that's why. We really want to see that come out from above. What did I delete? I deleted my yellow line. So we really want to see it get out of that, get back into this descending channel, take that descending channel back up to the top, which right now would be somewhere around $10, and then maybe only come back to the midline of that descending channel and then break out above it. So like we'd want to see it come up, right? Not go any lower than the midline on there, and then go above, and then maybe test it again from the top and then take off. Now these things don't always do that with Bitcoin miners. We might just see it go like up like this, maybe check like that, and then boom, take off. Because they do like to moonshot when they go. So we're watching this one still. I don't know if I'm going to get back into Iren or not. I'm a little bit disappointed in its performance, and I really don't like. If I were to buy it again, like let's say I were to buy Iren again, I would be dumping it. I'd be dumping half around 1040, and I'd be dumping the other half if we got back to $16, because that was just incredibly disappointing. It was making just this perfect textbook cup and handle right there, and then it just got to the top of the handle and then absolutely got obliterated right after. That was so textbook, and it just bled me so bad. That really upset me. It happens, but like I didn't lose money on Iren. I actually made a little bit of money on Iren, but like I had, almost 200%-ish or around in profits. Something like that, and then boom, I just all bled down to like 20%. I was very upset about that. That was pretty frustrating. Anyways, Riot, BX trender does not look good. The volume does not look good. We did get some buying reports for March, and there wasn't really anything impressive in it. So I don't know if institutions are really going to flock to this one at all, especially since that DeepSeek news dropped. This thing has just been bleeding out. Let's take a look at Riot. How's Riot doing? Riot's been doing terrible as well. Look at this. Came all the way back to the bottom of its range here. It even swept that low a little bit with that wick on this week's candle. So I actually don't like that at all. I actually really hate the way Riot looks like right now. I wouldn't be super duper surprised to see Riot come, break these lows again, make a new lower low, maybe something like. Let's take a look. What would that trend line look like right now if I were to draw it across the bottoms of these things? Yeah, maybe even come all the way down to like $5. Maybe even all the way down to $5 for Riot. They got burnt there on a couple of things. Bitfarms doubled their shares. I'm assuming they did a poison pill, honestly. They might have done a poison pill and I just didn't catch it in the news because Bitfarms has over 500 million outstanding shares now, and Riot only owns 16% now, down from 19%. So I think they started diluting Riot out of their position. So that's just drama I don't want to be a part of. So I'm not interested in Riot or Bitfarms at this time. Yeah, Riot. Yeah, I think it's probably gonna hit this trend line here down again, unless unless we see a turnaround of Bitcoin and some big institutional investment coming through on Riot. In fact, I need to delete this box. This box doesn't matter anymore. But this super aggressive downtrend is still very much intact right here. This very aggressive downtrend. And once this breaks, though, it's probably going to come up to about $11. But I don't know when that's going to happen. So yeah, all the technicals kind of look bad on Riot right now. Second look at Btdigital. Btdigital got -8% on the week. This is another reason I sold out of Btdigital and I'm not touching it anymore. Btdigital is a completely unfocused company right now. It's a complete mess. They are trying to pivot to AI, but AI has a lot of competition now. And in China, they've proved that they can do it cheaper than in the US. So I'm assuming they are struggling to find new clients or possibly even retain their own current clients. I obviously can't confirm or deny that, but that's just a speculation based on the fact that China's proven that they could do it a lot cheaper. They don't have a Bitcoin business much. They kind of abandoned the Bitcoin business largely in favor of AI, and Ethereum has been in the absolute in the toilet. So yeah, this thing went to new lows, down to 168 this week, and I'd stay away from this one. This one's toxic now. I'd stay away from this one personally. Of course, nothing I say is financial advice and not a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. Simply my opinions. You must make your own conclusions. Invest in things only after you have personally investigated those assets and made a risk-reward decision based on what you found. All right, so right now on the low end, I could see Btdigital coming as low as 123, especially if they spin off half the company into another AI company. Once we break this red line here, I see Bitfarms potentially coming up to $3, and I don't see it going any higher than that unless something significant changes in the company. It's done. As far as I'm concerned, it's done. Let's take a look at Bitfarms. Also about pretty much done as far as I'm concerned. They doubled down on the amount of shares they issued, probably to squeeze out Riot. They're just kind of their management team has been just kind of not doing it. They're just not it. You can see that volume's all just bad. The volumes all look bad. The technicals look bad. It did hit the very bottom of my big descending channel here, and it bounced. So that's a good sign. And if it breaks this yellow line here, I could see it coming up to $1 from here, which would be a 20% pump. Not bad. And if it can get above $1, I still think I could see it hitting 171, which would be the bottom of this structure over here. I could see it hitting that. But I don't see it getting much higher than that unless there is something significant that happens with the company. At this time, I wouldn't be surprised if they got bought out by a bigger company, absorbed into like Mara or something. And like maybe their American sites parsed off by CleanSpark, who knows? At this point, they didn't want to sell it to Riot, but at this point, their company's basically worthless. So might as well have just given it away at this point. I mean, maybe not. Maybe that's a little too harsh, but yeah, I hope that most people got out of this thing when I was, singing the alarm for it back in the mid $2 range when I got out. Because the institutions stopped buying and they haven't come back, and it doesn't look like they're going to. If they do, I'll change my tune, and I'd be very happy to see this company survive, because it was one of my earlier investments. It was one of the ones that I was pretty excited about, trying to see it get back to its previous all-time high around the 10s. But unless something fundamental changes, I don't see that happening right now. I mean, the only good thing is this BX Trender is a little nicer, but I mean, it got what, plus 3.85%. I mean, that's not a lot, especially when the whole stock market had a 15% day the other day. So this is bad. It's not doing so hot. Let's take a look at Cifr. Cifr also in the toilet, man. This thing is lots of things are making new lows. It broke its critical support down here at 233. It came as low as 188. Okay, as low as 188. Closed the week out at 242, up 15.24%. I do like to see that 15.24%. That's pretty great. Now, the fact that this drop was so steep, it's almost like straight down. It's almost straight. This is a cliff, right? That does open up some potential that it could come back up to the 50-week moving average at about 435, which would be not quite a double up, but close to a double up from where current prices are. Again, Cifr doesn't. I don't know. I don't know if I'd want to take that bet right now, personally. I've been buying different things lately. Kind of like when we saw this drop back here in August, right? Came down, and then as soon as we got a big green candle, that did an engulfment. So like if when Cifr is closing above $3, I'd be feeling pretty confident about a pretty big move up, potentially up to 430 or back into this channel, and maybe even hit the top of this channel again around $7-8. But like that's the highest I'd really see it going, unless something drastic happens, like Bitcoin hits $250,000. I think we got $150,000 Bitcoin priced in early in the year with a lot of these Bitcoin miners, and they diluted us into the ground during that period, and I don't really see them like taking any new highs anytime soon. Let's take a look at Corz. Corz kind of got obliterated here off of that AI news. Same kind of thing that happened with Btdr, but they're a little more focused, a little bigger, had a bigger deal. I have been buying CorzW, a couple. I bought a very small position, a position I could absolutely lose all of and not really be concerned about. I think I bought like 100 of them, and basically I'm just looking for like a triple up on that. Maybe get myself some vacation money. Have it come back up to the highs. Like if it comes back up to the highs from where it currently is, the CorzW we'll see it touch like $10 or so, and that'd be pretty cool. But right now, yeah, it's still in this downward channel. So I definitely took an early position, which is why it's so small. It tapped this line here with perfection, is bouncing. Once it breaks out of this trend line, I could see it coming back up to about $11, $12 before really running into some trouble. And then, from there, maybe $13.50, $14. If Bitcoin really takes off, maybe it'll hit the all-time high again. But I'm not holding my breath for that. I think I'd be, jumping off this right around $13, to be honest, which would be on the warrants. On the warrants, about $7.50, $8. I'd be jumping ship on there on those, which would be I bought it around here about $8 or so, about 179%. I'd be taking that and then taking that to the bank and walking away. The technicals on Corz don't look great. Right now we got the volume oscillator still getting darker, larger volume bars in the negative. The BX Trender is still getting deeper and deeper into the red. So honestly, Corz could find itself coming down to $4.23. It could absolutely do that before going higher. So that's why my position right now is really, really, really tiny on this one. And on basically everything I'm doing right now is pretty small positioning, while I'm waiting to see a big day come through that is going to hold. Because right now nothing's really holding. It's just kind of chopping back and forth in the lows. So I'm just kind of like taking small positions on red days and just waiting right now. Let's take a look at Wulf. How's Wulf doing? Same situation as Corz. Came all the way down, but it made a really bad low down here. It went basically to the penny on this one for June 2024. And the volume has been high, kind of like average or higher. But look at these candles. These candles all look really, really gross. Like we're getting dojis. We got this one hammer down here, but that resulted in lower lows. We got an engulfing candle, a doji, another doji here the day after that. I'd like to see a candle come up and close above 329 before I even have any interest in Wulf right now. This just looks atrocious. Volume is bad. You can see the oscillator. This volume oscillator is bad. The BX Trender is bad. The multi-kernel oscillator down here, which is RSI, stochastic, money index flow, and what's the other one? There's one other, CCI. Can't remember what the acronym stands for. Let's just look it up, I guess. CCI. commodity channel index takes all those and puts them into this and gives you an oscillator. Yeah, look at me getting another oscillator again. I like them. I like experimenting with oscillators. So you'll notice I'll have a new one here and there. Let's take a look at Hut. How's Hut doing? Hut, oof, boy. Actually, I don't hate this. I don't hate this. So it's come down to the bottom of this channel a couple times before, right? And it bounced perfectly off the bottom of this channel. I don't mind that at all. The only thing that could have actually made this look good, really good, is if it had engulfed this candle. If it had gone just a few pennies higher and closed around 1236, that would have been really, really, really good. But look at the BX trender. Okay, we got gray on the volume on the volume oscillator here, so that looks good. Okay, the BX trender is printing a lighter red. You can see here on the multi-kernel oscillator, we are starting to flatten out. That's actually a lot of good signs. That's quite a few good signs here. So let's go ahead and get a trend line going here from up here to down, and look at that. I bet you we broke it. Yeah, we did break it a little bit. So I'd like to see it. So we came up above it and then came back and touched it from above. And now once we're above this 50-week moving average here at 1625, right? We test that from above. I bet you we go very quickly into the 20s again, maybe even to the top of this channel around 27. So I'd be watching that. Hut actually looks like it's got something. And Hut, I believe, was doing a deal with, was it Hut? Hut was doing a deal with somebody. It might have been with Trump. They might have been doing a deal with Trump. I vaguely remember reading something about that. I mean, don't take my word on that one right now because I can't remember. But look it up. I believe Hut did cut a deal there to do some sort of thing with them. So keep that. Go look into that and tell me about it. Or I'll go look into it and tell you about it next week. We'll see if you want to know. I do vaguely remember reading something about that, though. I don't really investigate Hut too frequently, but I do vaguely remember reading something about that. Okay, Hive. Let's take a look at Hive. How's Hive doing? Hive is doing real piss poor. So we came and swept the lowest low down here, which was, oh boy, which was $1.35. So we swept that. Okay, when we went low, but we swept it, right? We gave it a sweep and engulfed back. So that's actually not bad. That's not the worst position to be in. We went as low as 126. Boy, oh boy. But we're still at 148. Now, this thing could pretty easily charge up to about 222, 223, okay? And there's only pretty light resistance at 222, 223, okay? The resistance is not strong there. It's not going to hit strong resistance until it gets up to about 282. That's where the resistance gets a bit strong. So let's go ahead and draw a line there. Is it 282 I said? Yeah, about somewhere like that, 282. That's where the resistance gets strong. And then that strong resistance lasts until about 338. And then from 338 on, we can come all the way up to hit this yellow trend line, which right now, if we were to hit it next week, we're not going to, but if we were, it'd be 519. And if we were to hit it by December, it would be 464. So we could go potentially from 148 to 464. Not a bad return there, actually. So once Hive breaks this red line, right? So I want to see it. This is what I want to see out of this thing. I want to see it come in, break this red line, maybe tap this one more time, and then come into this area, maybe make a flag, and then boom, go and hit that yellow line, and then, fall off a cliff like it always does. That's what I would expect out of Hive. So Hive, I'm actually kind of interested in it just because I do see a clear line for it to come up at least. Let's see, at least I see a clear line for it to do at least 100%, which is common with a few of them. And if we go all the way up to that 464, let's go ahead. 464, 450, close enough. 200%, not bad. I'm not gonna spit at 200% these days after what happened from January till now. Let's take a look at Can. How's Can looking? Oh wait, 1 second. Hive. Yeah, the BX trender and the volume are looking good. And you can see that the multi-kernel oscillator is trying to start to curve sideways, so that's not so bad. Not too shabby. Could be worse. So look at Can. How's Can looking? Can, not so good. Not so good. Ooh, we closed on the lows. We got a pin bar candle on the lows. I don't love that. Now, it is an inverted hammer, too. Like, it's a pin bar, but also an inverted hammer. That means that they tried to buy it up, and it got slammed all the way down, though. So this could be bullish, just because it's the nature of an inverted hammer at the bottom of a move, but you could also look at it like a pin bar, which would mean that it was tried to push up and failed miserably. So that one's a bit ominous. I would wait Can until it was at least above 88 cents, 88, 89 cents. I would wait until it was at least above there, which if you look to the left here, you can see that level is prime resistance. So if we can get above that and start trading in it, we especially if you get above 115, well, then it's got room. Then it's got room all the way up to that 163, maybe even returning up towards the highs around $2 in that case. Okay, so the volume looks terrible. Volume looks terrible. BX trender looks terrible. Multi-kernel oscillator, it looks like it is gonna flip to the downside there. So I actually really hate the way CAN looks. I would be sitting on my hands with this one right now. I would not be touching this right now. I'd like to see it turn around, honestly, and get above 89 cents and possibly even 115 before I'd even be interested. Let's take a look at Btdr. How's Btdr doing? Btdr, same sort of thing, but it is also doing a falling wedge. It's doing a really nice falling wedge that you can see there. We held the lows, so we didn't go lower on the lows. That's nice. We got that like a 685, 690, somewhere in there. Now the volume is still bad. As you can see on the oscillator here, it's still getting wider and deeper red. The BX trender is also still getting deeper red on the weekly. We do need to see it come up and above this white trend line here. See it come up and above, maybe test that low one more time, and then come up into this area, give me a flag or something, some kind of bullish structure, and then move up to around $19. Now, I don't necessarily expect it to go much higher than $19 unless Bitcoin goes out of this world, but I do expect it to, as long as Bitcoin at least gets to expected levels of like 120, 130,000, maybe $150,000, I would expect it to hit around that $19 again, which would be from here about 150%. That's not too bad. And to the downside, honestly, I'd be watching 591 to 550, 520. No, 520, 525. Is that it? Gotta get real quick. 537. Okay, 537. I'd be watching 537 to $6 to the low end if it were to drop. So we're looking at a drop of potentially, $2 and 40 cents, or potentially an up move of, $11, $12. So not a bad risk reward right there where the price of Btdr currently is, but I don't like it right now. I'd wait. I'd still be waiting. I'm not entering. And of course, nothing I say is financial advice and not a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. Let's also look at MicroStrategy since we're here. MicroStrategy is kind of playing this fractal perfectly. I would not be surprised at all to see MicroStrategy come back up to about 365, maybe even tap $400, and then absolutely crater after that. Look at this though. We've got 3 weeks in a row of volume getting nicer here. All right. 2 weeks with the BX trender getting nicer, but then the BX trender started getting deeper red again, and now we've got this week it was a lighter color. We've got the multi-kernel oscillator is flattened out right here. So I would expect MicroStrategy to make that move up to about $400, but I would not try to hold it past that personally, unless it slices past $400 like crazy and gives us like a really big wick up here. And honestly, even past $400, around 440, I'd be looking to cut it any sign. It shows weakness for a second over $400, and I'm cutting that thing. If I don't hold it right now, but I'm looking at it again, and I would absolutely cut this thing. Any sign of any kind of weakness over $400, I'm done with this thing. I'm running. So yeah, I actually like what it's creating a base right here. I actually really like this. I can see MicroStrategy going up about another $100 or so, and then like falling flat or slicing higher. But any sign of weakness, I'd be taking my leave very, very, very quickly. Let's take a look at Soluna real quick. It's still a dumpster fire. It broke above this trend line, but it's still riding this other one down further. It is stuck in like a really gross channel right now. I would like to see it, honestly, it really needs to get back above 350 before there's even a chance of it doing much. And that's a, 600% return from current prices. We're at 55% right now, or sorry, 55 cents right now. And just to get back up there, we're talking about 600%. Now, that's not bad. I mean, it would really take, again, like I said before, and many times before, it would take one hedge fund to look at this thing and say, I'd like to make that a plaything today. And then boom, it goes flying up to $3 in a day. It could do that. Okay. It could absolutely do that. I mean, look at what it did back here in 3 weeks. 3 weeks. And I bet you most of the move happened each of those weeks, like one day, maybe two. It went up 220% from, it went up $6 from $2.73 to about $8.74. Almost $9 in 3 weeks. So this thing can move, and it could move 600% in a heartbeat. Like, it could absolutely do that. I'm not saying it's going to, and I would not put more money than I could 100% lose into this thing. Again, lottery ticket, 0 or hero, and so far it's been a 0. But if it was to return just to where I purchased it at back here in December, that would be a 600% move. So do with that knowledge what you will, and however you'd like to use it. Let's take a look at coin. We're going to take a look at coin, and then we're going to close out with GameStop. So coin. Coin is hugging the very, very bottom of this descending channel. It is doing a bit of another channel in here, and I'll try to draw it. It's really steep though, so it's gonna be ugly. It's gonna be an ugly channel, something like that, right? And this channel here, once it breaks out of this thing, we could come back up to the top of this other channel, which would be about 238. We did sweep some lows here, so that sucks. We made a new low on the weekly here, so this bullish structure that we were in is kind of broken a little bit. Especially since we broke this red trend line here. So Coinbase is not looking hot. And Coinbase is not looking hot because the altcoin season never came, or at least it hasn't done so yet. Okay, so at this time, actually, MicroStrategy is looking a lot better than Coinbase. Now, I'm not saying Coinbase can't go up. I'm just saying I see it struggling heavily to get above 250 again without a significant altcoin rally to support it. Okay, but with that said, we can see that the volume is turning gray on the red side. That's not bad. So it's going to get softer and potentially move up. The BX trender is a lighter red when it's been getting darker red for quite a while now. And the multi-kernel oscillator is trying to flatten out. It's still pointing mostly down, but it is trying to flatten out. And once we get up and above here, like, and especially, I mean, I'm not saying we're going to, because I think this is probably the highest it's going to go unless we get an altcoin season. If it can break out of this descending channel right here, if we can get out and break out above $250, yeah, we can run for the high again very easily. And that could happen in a couple of days. We just need the altcoin rally to come in. Altcoin season needs to start. And once that starts and we get lots of trading activity in Coinbase, well, Coinbase will go up again. And that's what we're waiting, and that's what we're looking for. Last one, let's take a look at GME, GameStop. GameStop has been getting a lot of attention lately, okay? It's been getting a lot of attention. I actually started a position on GameStop. I've started a position of calls on I bought the 30 strike, and I bought a few at the 35 strike, okay? I bought for July, an expiration date in July for $30, and October for $35, okay? Lots of activity here, especially after they announced that that they were going to put Bitcoin as a reserve asset on their stock, right? For their company. And look at this. This week it was up 12%. The week before it was up 8%. So not too bad. Really, I mean, it hits $30. My call is going to be doing exceptionally well. If it hits the previous high the last time, there's also been rumors that Roaring Kitty is back because there has been purchasing of call options very, very similar to the way he had done it the previous 2 times on GameStop. Now, if he releases a social media post for GameStop hinting that he's going to be investing in GameStop, yes, we will see another crazy blow off top like this around $60-ish, okay? Don't come to asking about it at $40. It's too late then, if that happens. Okay, so I'm telling you now, and if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, oh well. And I'll lose a little bit of money wondering if that's going to happen, trying to catch that run up. And once it gets anywhere in between this box here, any weakness in between that circle there that I just drew, which is $35 to like $47, I am going to dump these things so quick. So that's GME. They're going to put Bitcoin on their balance sheet. So they have become a Bitcoin proxy. Every other time that this has happened with the company, it has run up a significant amount. We also have rumors that Roaring Kitty may be returning to this GME space. And that is largely due to someone. We don't know who yet, but someone is purchasing call options in a very similar manner that Roaring Kitty did the previous 2 times that the stock ran up. So that's what's going on with GME. That's why I have bought a few call options on GME for later in the year. Okay, it is now a Bitcoin proxy. Anyways, that's all I've got for you today. Please like, comment, subscribe, share this video. Check out the Trade Cave store, link in the description as well as the channel bio, and have a profitable day.